Ann Richards, a liberal Democrat in Texas. Hello, my name is Heather Wise. This is my profile of an ethical leader for the Globalization of Education, Winter 2017. Ann Richards was the 45th governor of Texas. She was well known for her sharp wit and authenticity. I chose Ann as my ethical leader for the opportunity her work presents to focus on inclusive and honest government and leadership. In light of our recent election and the executive orders of the last week, I wanted an opportunity to learn about and to share the story of a woman who overcame challenges and carried others with her. Ann Richards was born Dorothy Ann Willis on September 1st, 1933. Richards died after a battle with cancer in 2006. She was an only child who went on to attend Baylor University in 1950. Richards married her high school sweetheart, David Richards, and the couple had 4 children, Cecile, Dan, Clark, and Ellen. Early in their marriage, Ann earned her teaching certification at the University of Texas and taught social sciences and history at Fulmore Junior High School in Austin. During this time, while her husband was in law school, Ann balanced her duties as educator, wife, and Democratic Party volunteer. In 1972, Ann ran the campaign to elect Sarah Weddington, the lawyer made famous by her successful work arguing the winning side of Roe v. Wade to Texas legislature. Richards made her first bid for public office in 1976, when she won a commissioner position for Travis County. In 1982, Richards made the jump from local to state government when she was elected as state treasurer, a position she was re-elected to in 1986. Her election as state treasurer made her the first woman elected statewide in nearly 50 years. In 1988, Richards was catapulted to national fame with her keynote address at the National Democratic Convention, including the jab at George Bush during her keynote address that made headlines. Quote, "Poor George, he can't help it. He was born with a silver foot in his mouth." Richards became the first female governor of Texas to be voted into the position in 1990. During her time as the governor of Texas, Richards worked to make sure government was open to all people, including minorities and women. In 4 years as governor, Richards championed what she called the New Texas, appointing more women and more minorities to state positions than any previous governor. The Associated Press summed up her achievements in an article celebrating her after her death. Quote, "She appointed the first black University of Texas region, the first crime victim to join the State Criminal Justice Board, the first disabled person to serve on the Human Services Board, and the first teacher to lead the State Board of Education. Under Richards, the fabled Texas Rangers pinned stars on their first black and female officers. She polished Texas' image, courted movie producers, championed the North American Free Trade Agreement, and oversaw an expansion of the state prison system, and presided over rising student achievement scores and plunging dropout rates." End quote. In 1992, she was the chairwoman of the National Democratic Convention that nominated Bill Clinton for president. Unfortunately, she lost re-election as governor to George W. Bush in 1994. This win is often seen as sort of retribution for George Bush's presidential loss to Bill Clinton in 1992. After her time as an elected official ended, Richards worked as a commentator for CNN, an advisor, a public speaker, and she worked on many social causes, as well as working to develop the Ann Richards School for Young Women Leaders, which opened in 2007, just a year after Richards passed away. One of the biggest challenges Richards faced personally was her drinking problem. In 1980, Richards received treatment for alcoholism after her friends and family staged an intervention. Richards recalled being concerned that she, quote, "wouldn't be funny anymore." Instead, she used her experiences to help others dealing with addiction. Richard's friend Molly Ivins recalls a time when Richards was sitting in a circle of prisoners at a rehab program that she worked to begin at Texas state prisons, and as she looked around the room, she said, quote, "My name is Anne, and I'm an alcoholic." She shared her experiences to help others overcome their issues with addiction. Ann Richards worked to make Texas government more inclusive and open to people who were often ignored by the male-dominated establishment in Texas. She worked to control concealed handguns, automatic weapons, and to protect the environment by vetoing the Edwards aquifer. She was an inspiration to many as the first female voted into the governorship of Texas, and as a Democrat. As Denise Oliver Velez said in her 2016 Daily Kos article, 10 years after Richards passed away, quote, "The first ardent feminist elected to high office in America. She opened up public service to women, blacks, Hispanics, Asian Americans, gays, and the disabled. Her progressive achievements and the force of her personality created a lasting legacy that far transcends her rise and fall as governor of Texas." The clearest example I found about how Richard's political work affected education was the fact that she appointed the first teacher to lead the Texas State Board of Education. This appointment directly affected the rise in student achievement rates and the fall in student dropout rates seen during Richard's time in office. Richard's work at the end of her life, which resulted in the opening of the Ann Richards School for Young Women Leaders, also had a direct effect on education in her local community. Richards worked through the challenges that women uniquely face when working in public service and saw a need to prepare young women to lead. Even one of her own children is still actively involved in public service and leadership. Her oldest child, Cecile Richards, is the current president of Planned Parenthood. Her strength and authenticity may not be directly linked to educational endeavors in Texas or elsewhere, but she served as an inspiration for other women to educate themselves and to lead, and she showed all people how powerful facing your demons can be, whether they are in a bottle or take another form. My biggest takeaway from this project is that I want to carry myself as Ann Richards did. I want to be authentic in what I do and to not fear challenging expectations. If she had not challenged the expectations for her gender, she never would have been a Democratic female governor of Texas. Ann Richards wanted to be remembered as a woman who, quote, "opened government to everyone." In an article written by the Associated Press at the time of her death, Richards is quoted answering the question what she might have done differently had she known she was going to be a one-term governor. Her response, quote, "Oh, I would probably have raised more hell."